Part of me feels sorry because she doesn't look like a flashlights and Morse code kid, but the other part of me is excited. I'm glad Mrs. Bowman sold you her house, I say. Well, I guess technically the realtor sold it, but I'm glad your family bought it because I've always thought it'd be great if a kid lived next door. Mrs. Bowman was nice, but she was really, really old. I clamp my teeth together to keep anything else dumb from escaping my mouth. Christy drags a strand of her hair between her fingers. I'm glad too. I was scared. I'd have to start my school year without knowing anyone. My lips spread to a smile, imagining Melissa's surprise as I introduce Christy into our group. This is my friend Christy, I'll say. We hung out together all summer. I glance out my doorway to the living room. Where's David? Ryan said there's a bus stop at the end of the street. I lick my bottom lip to keep from grimacing. At the corner. That's great. Christy continues to twist her strand of hair. I used to walk 3 blocks to catch the bus, even if it was freezing or raining. Mom say take an umbrella as though anyone carries an umbrella. David insists on bringing his bright red umbrella to school, even when it's only cloudy. My mom's like that too. Leaving out isn't the same as lying. She always says, well, at least you wear your hood, I continue, like I'd want hood hair. Christy smiles, letting the twisted strand fall back to her arm. Ryan said he lets kids wait in his house when it's raining, since he can see the bus from there. But only if you're invited. I peek out the doorway into an empty living room. Part of me would like to tell Christy the truth, but I don't want our conversation to become about David. At the bus stop, I always tell him, you have your umbrella, grabbing the back of his jacket to keep him from following Ryan's friends up the steps. Going inside is for kids without umbrellas. I would be honest, but David doesn't understand invited and not invited. He thinks everything is for everyone. Ryan's nice, Christy says. Don't you think so? Nice as a cockroach. Want some sherbet? I ask. When you want to get out of answering something, distract the questioner with another question. What kind? Christy asks. Raspberry. David rushes through the doorway, his eyes wide with panic, an audio cassette in his hand. Fix it? The tape is pulled out of the cassette, hanging in a long, delicate loop. At first I'm relieved that's all that's wrong, until my guinea pigs start to squeal. With the cassette over one ear and his hand shielding the other, David yells, Quiet, pigs! Christy shoots a weird glance from David to the guinea pigs to me. I pry the cassette from David's fingers, knowing it'll be faster to deal with the tape than the tears filling his eyes. Don't worry, this'll only take a minute. I spin the cassette around on my finger, wishing I had 2 more hands, one to give the guinea pigs a hay to quiet them, another to cover David's mouth as he shrieks. I spin the cassette so fast my finger keeps slipping out of the tiny hole. When the tape lies flat and tight, I slide Frog and Toad together into my cassette player and push play. Arnold Lobel's deep voice joins the guinea pig squeals, and David's face lights up like Christmas morning, Halloween night, and his birthday all rolled into one big grin. You fixed it! Go find Mom, I say, pressing the cassette into his hand, and tell her I'm done babysitting. Before I close the door, I peek into the living room to be sure David's heading towards Mom's office. He disappears down the hallway, swinging his arms. That must be hard, Christy says. Even regular brothers are a pain. Regular snarls in my stomach. I grab my sticky note and write, Dad, buy a new tape player, and stick it on the back of my door to remember to tell him again. To quiet my guinea pigs, I pull strings of Timothy hay from the little bale I keep under the cage. Nutmeg yips as Cinnamon steals her hay. They're so cute, Christy says. Can I hold them? Sure. I toss her a towel. Better put that on your lap in case they pee. I slide one hand under Nutmeg's chest and cup her back legs with my other. Cinnamon weeps until I set her next to Nutmeg on Christy's lap, and the squealing turns to happy guinea pig cooing. Nutmeg, I thought I'd never see you again. Say, what are you eating? Towel medium rare with a hint of fabric softener. Care for a bite? Don't mind if I do. My door busts open. No toys in the fish tank, David announces. I'll be right back, I say to Christy between my clenched teeth. No problem, she says, stroking Nutmeg's neck. I close my door behind me so Christy won't see me run. Why? I sprint ahead to David. Why today? Because. The tiny cowboy stands bow-legged on the gravel at the bottom of the fish tank, one hand poised to grab his pistol, the other holding the end of the lasso, hovering in a loop above his head. A goldfish swims right through the hole. Get back here, you pesky varmint. Plunging my hand into the water, fish swoosh past my fingers. I rescue the cowboy and throw him into the toy box. Grabbing David's wrist, I don't even wipe my hand first. Wet! David twists to get away from me. You're not going to ruin this for me. I yank him along behind me down the hallway to Mom's office. She's on the phone. All right then, Mom says into the receiver. I'll look forward to hearing from you next week. I have company, I say, not caring about interrupting her, and you need to watch David. Mom holds up one finger for me to wait, but I push David ahead of me into the room. Her eyebrows come down. She grabs a puzzle off of her bookshelf and dumps the pieces on the floor. Yes, that'll be fine, she says. David sits beside the hill of pieces. He can't to see puzzles undone, but he insists on doing the pieces in lines like he's reading the puzzle. He doesn't look for all the red barn pieces or the daisies in the field or the glimmers of sunlit water. Left to right, top to bottom. That's his puzzle rule. And if you add a piece out of David's order, he'll take it back out, even if it fits. I slam Mom's office door on my way out. When I come back to my room, breathless from running down the hallway, I notice Nutmeg and Cinnamon are in their cage. Everything okay? Christy asks. I hope you don't mind that I look at this. She's holding my sketchbook open to the half-finished portrait of Jason. Is he your boyfriend? No, just a boy I started drawing. Christy tilts her head in a ooh, really look. If you want someone to think something's not important, use just a lot. He's just a boy I know from, well, I don't really know him, not very well. I just see him. I check my watch. It's almost time to leave for OT. I can't tell Christy I have to go, not for the first time we met, but I told Jason I'd see him today. Christy tosses my sketchbook onto my desk. My hands itch to flip the page, but that'll bring attention to it. Want to watch TV? Christy asks. If I say no, maybe I won't get another chance to hang out with her. I glance at Thomas the Tank Engine reflected in my mirror, his eyes closed, braced for a crash that will never happen. From somewhere, David shrieks. We can watch at my house, Christy says. That stings, even if I agree. Sure, I say. I'll tell my mom. All the way up Christy's walkway, I want to skip or run or twirl with my arms out like a 6-year-old. It feels deliciously easy to be visiting a friend's house without having to say first, sorry, David, this is for me. You can't come. Hearing Mom's car back out of the driveway, I turn to wave. She waves, but David sits alone in the back seat, hunched down, his hands over his ears. I follow Christy up the steps and through her front door. At someone else's house, you have to follow their rules. At a friend's house, everything is uncomplicated. No one drops toys in the fish tank, no one cares if cellar doors open or close, and no one shrieks unless there's a huge hairy spider crawling up her arm. And they only have regular family rules. No snacks right before supper, call if you're going to be late, homework first. But the best part of being at a friend's house is that I can just be me and put the sister part down. Christy's room looks like a page from a catalog. The sort of shiny catalog I get in the mail and can only afford a toothbrush or a poster from. But Christy's new pink swirled curtains match the fat comforter on her bed, which matches the pink and blue rug on her floor. It's all beautiful, and what I envy the most is the neat row of things on your bureau. Photographs, makeup, her jewelry tree, and a long row of nail polish bottles. Everything out in the open, not jumbled in drawers like mine, out of David's sight. Lying next to Christy, on her new smelling pink comforter, I wish I wasn't wearing an old sun-faded t-shirt and had put makeup on this morning. I think he's cute, Christy says, and I force my gaze back to the teen people spread in front of us. The boys in the magazine have perfect teeth and stabbing eyes. Christy taps a little box that says up close and personal with Jake. He says his ideal date would be a sunset walk on the beach and a picnic supper she had prepared. Sounds cheap. As soon as I say it, I wish I could stuff the words back in my mouth, but Christy laughs. Yeah? Why can't he bring the picnic? If you get invited somewhere, you shouldn't have to bring supper. She flips onto her back. I roll over too. Her ceiling is ordinary plain white with a simple square glass light in the middle and two hooks like upside-down question marks holding nothing. I think Mrs. Bowman hung plants here. Can you date yet? Christy asks. I shrug. I know boys from school and church, but no one I'd want to go somewhere with, by myself. Well, not really by myself, because he'd be there too. Oh, shut up, I tell my tongue. You should ask that boy you drew on a date, she says. What's his name? I shift my shoulders, pretending I need to stretch so she won't notice I'm squirming. Is there any harm in telling his name? They're not likely to meet Jason. He doesn't even go to the same school I do. Jason? My boyfriend and I broke up before I moved, Christy says. But I think Ryan likes me. His mom works at the community center where I volunteer. Did you know the community center is sponsoring a summer dance? It's for kids aged 8 to 17. You could ask Jason. You volunteer? I need to change the subject. Yeah, with the preschool day camp. It sounded fun when I signed up, but they want me to come every day now. And going with with going to Dad's every weekend, I haven't even had time to finish unpacking. I glanced at her bureau, to the framed photograph with the man standing with the dog. My friend Melissa's parents are divorced. She's in California for the summer with her dad. My parents aren't divorced. She says it so sharp I gasp. I'm sorry, I thought, because they're just separated. Christy reaches up to twirl a piece of hair with her fingers. They're just taking a break for a while. It's so quiet I can hear the birds outside and cars driving past on the road. Christy holds the very end of the lock of her hair and spins back, following the path of her freckles against her nose. Want to shoot some baskets? She asked, pushing her hair out of the way. I don't know which box my basketball's in, but it's in the garage somewhere. Sure. I can't help checking off a list of differences in each room we pass through. No locks on the doors, no little kid videos next to the TV, no safety plugs in the outlets, and a box of cookies left out on the table. No one worried someone would eat them all at once. Christy's garage is full of boxes, bikes, rakes, a snowblower, and clutter of other things. We open boxes until we find her basketball. I hope you're not real good. Christy passes me the ball. I'm only kind of good. Me too, I say relieved. We play one-on-one until I see Dad pull into our driveway with David. David runs up the walkway to our house, clutching his video. Hi, Dad smiles, coming towards the fence. It's a nice surprise to drive in and see you next door, Kath. First, I told him not to call me Kath because it sounds too much like he's calling me a baby cow. And second, why is it such a surprise I have a friend next door? You need to get David a new tape player I set up for a shop. The one he has keep pulling his cassettes apart and I have to fix them. A ball bounces off the rim. Can't you say hello first? Dad asks. Hello, but don't forget, I'm sick of fixing his cassettes. I'm Catherine's Nat, he nods to Christy. It's nice to have you and your family in the neighborhood. What do your parents? Oh wow, I checked my watch. It's getting late. Yeah, I have to start supper for my mom. Christy shoots the ball. I'll see you? Definitely. I get the ball and pass it to her, loving the hollow thump it makes hitting her hands. I'll be in a minute, Dad calls. I need to get something from the car. I walk home, easy as you please. In the living room, I can barely keep from skipping past Mom, reading the newspaper on the couch. Next to her, David shakes his hands with excitement as the video preview plays on the TV. Did you have fun? Mom asks me. The newspaper page makes a whispery sound as she folds them. Christy seems like a nice girl. I nod. David slaps his leg with his hands, rated PG for adventure, action, and peril. Jason missed you today, Mom says, and my happiness deflates like a balloon with the smallest tear. Yet he said that? Well, actually, what he said was, tell Catherine all gone stinks a big one. Mom looks over the top of her glasses, giving the long what have you been up to young lady stare. Who's Jason? Dad says from the doorway, a teasing smirk on his face. A boy at David's OT place. I watch Dad's eyebrows shoot upward and I roll my eyes. He's just a boy. It's not like he's a boy or anything. Oh, I almost forgot. Jason sent you something. Mom says it's in the bag on the kitchen table. PG-13, David shouts. Parents strongly cautioned. I stroll. Ho-hum to the kitchen, but I'm curious. On the table I find a paper bag and reach inside. My fingers touch something tickly, cold. I pull out a bunch of carrots with feathery green tops attached. Untangling a carrot from the bunch, I imagine cinnamon and nutmeg in their carriage, shuffling through the shavings, drinking the water from the bottle. I snap the carrot in half, and from down the hallway comes a crazed burst of squealing and then a shriek. Quiet, pigs! By the time I reach my room, David's standing in my doorway, his hands over his ears. Sorry, I push past him. Go back to your video. They'll stop in a minute. Cinnamon and Nutmeg jostle each other, their front feet high against the side of the cage. Out of my way, fatso! Who are you calling fat, hairball? That carrot's mine. I toss the carrot bits into the cage, and shaving fly scuffle breaks out, finally setting into happy chuddling and chewing sounds. A trickle of guilt curls through me. Why can't the world be simpler like it is for guinea pigs? They only have a few rules. Crying will get you attention. If it fits in your mouth, it's food. Scream if you don't get your share. But I can already make it up to Jason on Tuesday. I already know how.